Welcome to another episode of Brantim Live. I'm your co-host Brandon E. Brooks. We have another amazing episode tonight. The Britch is on Brantim Live tonight, and we're going to introduce her in a couple minutes. But before that, Tim's going to unload a little business about the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention.
Yes, so go to brantim.realms.tv, or you can go to brantiment.com, however you... Yeah, there you go. Listen, we have weekend passes, Friday only passes, Saturday only passes, Sunday only passes, etc., etc., etc. The key thing is that, yes, and tons of after parties. $125 for the VIP after party on Friday, $225 for the VIP after party on Saturday. The kickoff party on Thursday, which is going to be exciting. We have some big news for that coming up in the next week. The Thursday red carpet kickoff party is going to be amazing. Most of the celebrities will be there, and there's going to be a live performance, and then there's going to be an after party with media there. The whole 9 yards is going to be awesome. That's $250, which is cool. And then Sunday we're gonna have another announcement for something special on Sunday. And but no, listen, like the main thing is that every celebrity will be there on Saturday. There's some that are Saturday only. There's some that are Friday, Saturday. Only a couple actually, and then there's a couple that are Saturday, Sunday. But everybody's going to be there on Saturday. So get that if you just want to come for Saturday, get that Saturday only pass, $50. Go for it, make it happen. I think we also have pro photo ops are all live up to this point. We do have a couple special guests lined up for the next week or two to wrap things up. It's been amazing so far. The guest list, I mean, just as it is overwhelmingly amazing, and it's lined up with amazingly great people, first and foremost. Secondly, they're amazing actors, actresses, wrestlers, whatever their field is. They're just amazing people first and foremost, and that's what we've learned thus far. And I'm so excited to actually meet them physically, and I think you want to meet them too. So make sure you get those tickets, please. That's it.
All right. So we are stoked tonight. I'm a long-time admirer of the long-running show General Hospital, so this guest is a treat for me. She is a daytime Emmy Award winner and a model as well, an actress. We welcome to Brantim Live, Kelly Thiebaud.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hanging in there. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. So, Kelly, I always get the show started off with a simple question. Tell us a little bit about where you come from, like your background, and how you got into this crazy business. Like, did you start with modeling that segued into acting? Just give us a little bit of background about your beginnings in this crazy field.
Yeah. Well, I can compare it to like Friday Night Lights. I'm from a very small town in Texas. My dad was the head football coach. My oldest brother was the quarterback. I was a cheerleader. My dad cheated on my mom with the secretary of the high school. I mean, it was very Friday Night Lights, So that's kind of my upbringing. I played a lot of sports, had no real understanding of acting, or I know it sounds very cliche to say this, but like legitimately didn't realize it was a career that you could pursue. And I didn't really have at the time any sort of, I wanted to be a singer, but my mom basically let me know that was not going to happen. So I kind of was just like living in this bubble, and randomly, I was playing sports, I was cheerleading, and my cheer coach had asked a bunch of us to go up to Dallas to audition for this like cheer catalog, if we wanted to model for this cheer catalog. And I was like, sure, I have no idea what this is. I've never done this before. I went up to Dallas, and that's kind of how I got started in the modeling world, which kind of opened me up to this whole entertainment world. And my mom was very strict when I was in high school, as she should be, because I was a wild teenager. Okay. And she wouldn't let me work. She wouldn't let me miss school or do anything like that. So any jobs that I got could only happen in the summertime. And so I had a very like normal childhood, thank God. And then things started kind of amping up, and I had an agency in Los Angeles that was interested in me. And so somehow I had enough credits to graduate high school in 3 years, and I hightailed it out of my small town at 17, and I moved to LA having no clue what the world looked like and what a big city was like. My car got towed every weekend. Like it was really terrible. I'm not joking either. It took a lot. There was like a lot of like just understanding how things operated in such a massive city. And, it actually took me a long time to get into acting. I wasted several of my youthful years just like looking for love and trying to figure life out and figure out who I was and who I wanted to be, and started doing commercials. And then I got to do these David Guetta music videos, and it's kind of like the first time I
Oh,
acted a little bit.
gotcha.
And that is
Oh,
really kind of what opened me up
that
to
was a
acting. And
badass
so
shot.
that's like the beginning of my journey a little bit.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
so where did the acting? Did you start teaching once you started getting a little more of the bite, the feel for wanting to do it?
Like,
Did you
did I
train
start going to,
somewhere specific? Did you go to
I
classes or
did.
start going to? Okay.
Yeah, so I actually was living in London. I went there at like 25. Like, I'm gonna do this modeling thing. I'm gonna give it one more shot, even though I wasn't happy doing it. And I realized while I was there that, like, oh man, I don't like this. What am I doing here? So I moved back to Los Angeles, got into class. I did like a comedy class with this teacher, Leslie Kahn. She's very big in LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of how I met my friends. I got familiar with acting and the technique of acting. I met my first manager through my teacher there. So it really kind of like started everything for
Oh,
me.
oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So tell me about Journey of Redemption.
Oh God, I honestly I couldn't even tell you. You know how I got that job?
No.
I was I was working at the Hilton in Woodland Hills, California, as a front desk
Oh,
agent, and
Yeah.
the writer slash producer of that very low budget movie needed to hire this character that was playing like the makeup artist or something, and I guess my smile wooed him. I have no idea. Like I'd never acted
That's
other
awesome.
than like little like commercial bits and stuff. But yeah, that was like a very small role, very low budget job. I never even saw, I don't think, the finished product. So
oh, wow,
Really?
wow.
yeah,
Really?
no.
Oh.
So where does that? So how long does that trajectory there? Actually, I do want to ask you about one thing because it's a question we got from a few fans that are looking forward to seeing you at the convention. How does Hostel 3 come into your world? How does
Oh,
that? How does how
Oh.
does this? So we have a lot of horror fans that are coming too, but so that was one thing that people were like, "Oh yeah, she
yeah,
was in that." So it was like,
yeah. I was
and that
so
kind of,
angry I didn't get to like really do all the gruesome stuff, Like
Mm.
I'm dying to do another horror movie because I felt like I got cheated a little bit.
Yeah.
I At that time, so I just started really like acting and auditioning, and I
mhm.
had I believe I had a manager and an agent, my first manager and agent. And I'm trying to remember, actually. I put myself on tape. They liked my tape. They brought me in. I met with the director, and then I got the job.
Oh,
So
hmm.
yeah, it was pretty wonderful. It was the first time I was ever on like a big movie set, and I remember going there. We shot it in Detroit, and I'm a huge
Oh, really?
Eminem fan, so I was like, "Oh shit, this is where
Yeah.
Eminem is from."
Yeah.
And I'm like just walking around the city, that by itself was just an experience.
Oh
And
yeah.
then the movie set was just so cool. Yeah, it was a very fun experience.
So,
That's awesome.
so with those experiences, did you feel like as you were training that you were starting to get the hang of it a bit more? Is it still one of the questions I asked too? Do you when you're acting, do you still have like butterflies or anxiety at
Oh
all
yeah.
before you perform? Is that I know a lot of
Yeah.
people that's helped a lot of actors out there that are watching to know that people that are seasoned like have the same
Yeah.
type of thoughts in their head sometime before they go on stage or on to perform on
Yeah.
set. So,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I I always get nervous. I mean, even in class, I'm nervous to perform. I think because it's such a performance based art, and you want to do good and you want people watching you to be like, oh, wow, this person's really talented. So you put this pressure on yourself to be good instead of just like, living in these circumstances and being as honest as possible. You kind of automatically focus on the performance of it all. So it is a trap for sure. But yeah, I'm always nervous on General Hospital when I would go. Every new job I get, you know, especially when you become you get hired as just like a guest star or something, you walk
Hmm.
Yeah.
into this crew of people that have been familiar with each other and are friends and have been working together, and you're this new person, and that's even more intimidating. So it's
Yeah.
always, you're always juggling your nerves, you're always just trying to do your best and not get too excited and yeah, overwhelmed. That's my experience at least.
So is General Hospital something that you sought out, or was it something your agent presented to you, or something, I don't know, a friend told you
Yeah,
about? Or
I actually wasn't trying to be a soap star. At the time that I got GH or I was auditioning, I was also getting very close to booking a series regular on a new show. Like I had tested a bunch of times for different projects and was very close. Just like, you know, when you're in that flow and good things are happening and you could
Oh
just
yeah.
feel like something's about
Mm.
to click. That's kind of where
Yeah.
I was. And General Hospital audition came along and it was just for a recurring character. So I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about being on a contract. I'll totally do this. This is fine. Went in for a completely different role than what I actually ended up playing on the show.
Oh.
And I think after I auditioned, it was like 2 weeks later, they called my manager and said that they wanted to offer me this other role that had just been written. And it was like this bad doctor that was coming into town to stir up problems.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, maybe like 3 episodes. And I was like, sure, great, let's do it. And then it turned into 9 years, you know, it's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. I love that.
So how was that? How was that? We've had some different soap stars on before, but how was that whole process? It's so strenuous with so much copy per day. How did you acclimate into that? Like from coming from maybe a movie that might shoot for a month or two,
Yeah.
or something else like that. Was that difficult, or did you get into the flow pretty seamlessly?
I think for me, luckily, starting out, I wanted to do such a good job that I was working my ass off outside of work on the scenes that I had at GH. So I was getting coached on my scenes for GH. I really wanted to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
And so initially out the gate, I didn't feel like the dialogue was difficult. I mean, the one difficult aspect of it is sometimes the writing isn't great, and that's the difficult part of it. It's not necessarily the amount of words you have, it's the words,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
Mm.
that can be tricky, you know. So but I really loved it. Yeah, it was something that I'd never done before, and it is very theatrical because you kind of perform everything out.
That's
And
awesome. Yeah.
I remember when I left, I had this kind of like aha moment where I was like, oh, okay, I think I understand this place now as I'm like exiting, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because
Mhm.
it is like it's a freaking just train that keeps on moving and you go so fast. And sometimes I don't think you realize like what you are a part of until you actually step away from it. And I'm so grateful for GH and to be in people's living rooms every day. It was just such a phenomenal
That's
experience. And I
awesome.
love my characters so much. So I don't think I could ever go back and do any other role but my
No.
my
No.
role.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, this character, Dr. Britt Westbourne, that has become a legend now in GH lore. Tell
Yeah.
us about the Brad Britt connection that again we're getting a daily dose of from fans like that are just excited about both of you being at our convention.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this chemistry. Was it seamless with you and Perry here on camera, or did it take time for you two to kind of like get the feel of each other's acting styles or anything, or did it just flow? Because you guys seem to just be just like this on
Yeah.
camera. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. Like, I can't really remember having an awkward, like, beginning with us. We just kind of clicked, and he also comes very prepared and ready to work and has his own ideas about, like, how he wants to experiment with things, you know, and I really appreciated that as someone who also. I believe I work really hard. So and on top of that, like we wanted to bring humor on, you know, in all of this
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
So I think that really worked well for us. And thank God he has a similar sense of humor to me, because we just were able to like bounce off each other, feed off of each other, and really commit and stay in the scene no matter what happened. And we had a blast. Like, I love working with Perry. He's awesome.
Yeah, it's
I
funny because he said that his big thing about advice to give to other people is be prepared. Like that's something that he thrives off of, is just being super uber prepared for
Oh,
anything and
yeah.
everything.
And he
when
was always.
when we were working on booking you for this, I sent Tim a clip of, which is this scene here when you guys
Yeah,
perform at the nurses'
yeah.
ball. So I was like, you got to see, because he wasn't as familiar, but I was like, you got to watch this performance of the two of them. And
Oh,
he just sat back a huge LOL, like, because again,
aw.
it's so amazing like that. Anybody that hasn't seen it, even if you're not a GH fan, just watch them performing on there. It's great.
Yeah.
So
We had so much fun with that. We had so much fun. Like, we really just were like, whatever, let's just, and we didn't rehearse any of those like moves. We were both like
oh
going down together at the same time. And it was like, we really are in sync. This is amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
now the last GH question I have before we get to another important person in your life, it's like, what does it feel at this moment right here? Like
Uh,
this moment right here, when your name is
I,
called, did you have any idea that you were going to win? You know you're
no,
a badass actress, but were you prepared? What is this moment
no.
like when you're standing on this stage? And tell us a little bit about that right there.
I mean, talk about nerves. I can't even express to you. I was like, I did not drink. I love like when I'm getting ready, have a glass of like Prosecco or wine, or like before an event, have a little something, something. I was like, nope, I'm not doing anything, because I am so nervous about this. Like,
Yeah, you
I
probably throw
want to
up.
win, but I'm also terrified to like go up on stage and do an acceptance speech. So the funny thing is, we got into the auditorium, and I'm immediately like looking around, like where I'm seated, where are the other people seated, like trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
And I had
yeah.
no idea that my category was first up. So when they announced it, my
oh.
mom and I look at each other like, oh shit. And I'm like, I'm shaking, and I'm listening to them name off the nominees, and I'm hearing the crowd clap for each nominee.
Yeah, yeah,
And the thing is like, the daytime world doesn't, I don't, I'm a very kind of like homebody, like keep to myself type of person. And so the daytime world doesn't really know me. I don't know a lot of other actors on the show. And so I'm hearing all these applause for the other nominees, and I'm going in my head like, oh, I didn't win. I didn't win. This is sometimes can be, a favorite type of vote. And
yeah,
my name was last, and people applauded, which was very nice. And then they announced the winner, and it was me, and I was floored. I was so floored. I did not think I was going to win. Um, I'm sweating even thinking about it right now. It was such a fantastic experience. I'm so happy my mom was there with me, and she's kind of been on this roller coaster of my career, and has seen all the lows. And so it was very special for her to like finally see that I've been awarded for my efforts.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
was really beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, that's heartwarming just hearing that. So I told you a little bit before pre-show that the last couple of days I've kind of fallen in love with a special figure in your world, which we're
Yeah.
gonna pull up a picture right now of this amazing
Ah,
person here. Tell us a little bit about this, because I'm absolutely in love. I wish Whiskey could come to the convention, because I like I just
listen,
was like
look.
looking at all these pictures, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is the most amazing. I'm a huge dog lover, so I was just looking at these, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to like know about this amazing uh dog right here. So tell us a little bit
Soul.
about
He
Whiskey.
has an amazing soul. Possibly the best thing that's ever happened to me. And we just have this bond. We're both obsessed with each other, probably a little codependent. But he's going to be 10 in 2 weeks. I can't believe it. um, I take better care of him than I take care of myself. He's on like turmeric and supplements for joints and like healthy food
Oh,
and all this stuff. I want him to live as long as he can, but he travels everywhere with me. Like, we moved to London. He came to London. We're in New York right now. Like
Awesome.
he's been to Vancouver. This
Aw.
dog has been through everything with me, and he is just, I don't know what I would do without him, honestly. He is
Aw.
the sweetest and also feistiest little dog. Like his name is Whiskey and he lives up to it. He does.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Absolutely
but yeah,
awesome.
he's the best.
Yes. So
I found him on
adorable.
I found him on Pet Finder. If you can
Oh,
believe that.
okay.
I was
Oh,
just
wow.
scrolling Pet Finder one day and his name was Stanley before I adopted him.
Oh, it's
And
that
he had
face.
this like really goofy picture. And I was like, who is this dog? He looks so goofy. I have to meet him. And we were just meant for each other.
Awesome, absolutely awesome. So one thing we do, one thing we do on this show is that I go through different photos that I find like of you, and I pull ones that are interesting that I think there may be a little story behind, and I'll just
Ooh.
put them up on the screen, and you just tell us a little bit about what pops in your head that comes from it.
Okay.
Some are older, some are just I don't even know what they represent but that makes it kind of fun. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start here with this picture here. Bam.
Oh,
Sorry, it's a
God.
little blurry, but tell us a little bit about this picture.
I mean, if you watch this video, you can tell it's like one of my very first acting jobs because I'm horrible. And it's a commercial, and I'm playing like a PA on the set of this commercial, and there's like this bossy another PA who's like bossing me around. And so I spit in this cup of coffee just to piss her off. That's going to the director. Yeah, it was a really fun job.
Oh, I did
But
see
yeah,
that. Yeah,
I think
I
I was
saw
like
that.
23 or
Yeah.
22, something like that. It's a long,
Yeah.
long time ago.
What is this right here? Bam.
That was back in the day when I was modeling. That is for
Yes.
a company out of the Netherlands called McGregor. They're no longer around, unfortunately. But yeah, I traveled to Amsterdam all the time, which is not a bad gig, and got to
No.
shoot these beautiful photos.
Okay. So
Awesome.
this one here was a badass shot that I don't know what represents. Bam. What is this?
That's just me. One of my photographers, one of my friends was a photographer, and I was like, hey, let's go. I need some like badass photos so people hire me to be the next Bond girl. Like, let's fucking
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
I'm sorry, I don't
Ah,
think you can say that on here,
Nice.
but
no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so
That was good.
that's what that is. It's just me and a friend goofing
Awesome.
around in Hollywood, trying to show people that I can be an action star.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This what is this right here? Bam. Who did you piss off?
I had a little too many tequilas. This was from, I got involved in the 48-hour film festival in Los Angeles, and my character she was a drunk driver and got into an accident, and that is what happened.
Oh, okay.
Great
All right.
makeup, right?
Really good makeup especially
Yeah.
for a 48-hour. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah.
what is this a magazine cover? What is this right here?
This
Illegal
is-
use
yeah,
of
it was
hands.
Yeah. I'm a referee. This
Oh, yeah.
is for DirecTV, obviously you can see, and
Yeah.
it was inside of magazines. It was just an ad that was going inside of magazines for football season, I believe it was.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay, so I haven't seen this movie here, so tell us a little bit. The title caught me because we're dealing with like a lot right now. So tell us a little bit about this right here.
Oh yeah.
That's great. That's great. This movie is, it's a very low budget movie that I did many, many years ago. I play basically a woman who's like hired by the blonde. The blonde is the sister of this guy, and she hired me to whip this guy into shape and help him lose weight and get his life back. Yeah. So.
Ooh. Okay.
Need to find one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a life coach.
So whose
Well,
baby right here are you about to look like you're about to steal? So what
I
is
have
happening
stolen
here?
so many babies.
What is
that
this?
That is it's a Lifetime movie, I believe, called
Is
The Sinister Surrogate, I think.
yes, yes,
Nice.
yes,
Am
it
I
is.
correct?
How I know is because of this picture right here.
There you go. Connect the dots. Yeah.
It's like
Nice.
Lifetime. It's so Lifetime.
it's very Lifetime. Yes, yes. So tell us this one here. Who are you aiming at right here? Bam.
Actually, one of your fellow actors who's coming to the event, Stephen Ogg, right?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
We know each other. We did this little short film. He was friends with the director. I got introduced to the director through someone else, and we did this little short film together. And he is on the other
No
side of
shit.
that gun.
Oh, I need
Really?
to see that. I need
You
to.
got to
What
see
is it
that
called?
now.
What's it called?
It's called. I want to say it's called The Time, but that's not it. I'd have to find it for
The present.
you. The
Is it the
present,
present?
yes,
No,
the present. That's
the
right.
present.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, oh, if you have that,
2019.
we'd love
Yeah.
to see it. Yes, we'd love to see it. So
it's
this is
good.
another one that I thought was interesting from a short. What is this right
Yeah.
here?
This one I
Yeah.
did in 2019, and it's a sci-fi weird short film. Really talented director and writer. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone anywhere. We were hoping that something would come of it because it's so strange. It's about AI, actually, which is interesting.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, this AI kind of is like killing people through it's through the
ooh,
computer. The AI is like making people do things. It's very weird,
Awesome.
but super fun. Again, I love horror stuff, so like super fun to
Oh,
do.
yeah.
awesome, awesome. So this was a little, just an interesting photo. Like, and I don't know if there's a story, but I just found it funny. Just found it funny because the caption was funny. So tell us what this is if you remember.
Yeah, my one of my best friends in LA, her little girl, I think she was like 5 at that time, was having a birthday party, and they had little characters at the party, and there was Spider-Man, and I don't know, went up to him and I was like, I got to get a photo with you. This is just too funny. So
So this right here looks very interesting. Where are you in
yeah,
this amazing photo? Is this the desert
just
out somewhere or?
yeah, just being an absolute dork. There's on the way out to Palm Springs from Los Angeles, there's like a little area where you can ride four-wheelers up like sand dunes. And so my girlfriend and I were on our way to Palm Springs and we saw this and we pulled over and I was like, I've always wanted to do this. And she's like, me too. So there was literally no one else on the course. It was just the two of us. And it was a blast. I highly recommend it.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So two more. This here, what is this from that you met a crazy end, I guess?
That is from oh my gosh, not CSI, not NCIS, Criminal Minds.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I
So,
played a prostitute and obviously got mixed up with the wrong client and he murdered me.
Okay.
Bastard.
All right. So this very interesting. This last one here, I just found it interesting. So if there's a story, this here, what in the world is this? Because I love it, but
Well,
I don't
you
kind of creeped
know,
out by it as well.
when you're an unemployed actor, you have too much time on your hands, and we have these phones now where we can record ourselves all the time doing the most absurd things, and that's kind of
Hmm.
it was literally during the strike last year, and
Oh, okay.
I was wearing this LED mask that I wear often, and I don't know, I got creative, you know?
So
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's fun.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
that was
Oh,
fun.
very
You have another one,
cool.
or is that the last one, or?
Yeah, no, no, that's it, Tim. Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Well, before we get into the last question, I did want to ask you about Station 19 because there were a few fans that were asking about that and your experience in that show
Yeah.
and that set.
What about Station 19?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Your experience in the set and the
My
time in the
experience, yeah.
show. Yeah.
I loved it. I was really hoping they would do more. I mean, I guess I should be grateful. I didn't even expect to do 8 episodes or 7 episodes, whatever it was. And clearly they liked something that was going on between me and what was his name? I don't remember.
Okay.
Um, But
Exactly.
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know. But I mean, those
listen,
fans
I'm
are
That
awesome.
terrible with
They,
names.
they,
I'm
they were
just
like, that was one
terrible.
of the shows that people were talking about. Yeah, that was canceled too soon or
Yeah,
whatnot.
it was.
look.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
last week was, or the week before was the last episode. I really loved working on it. My character, like again, like I really enjoy playing these kind of like wild,
Yeah.
spontaneous, like unlikable characters, and she was definitely that. A little bit of a sociopath, which is just so fun. And yeah, I jumped right in it. The fans, I think, enjoyed it because it was
Oh
something
yeah.
different than the regular cast,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun.
Now,
Cool.
is one more thing about that. Now, was that character the last name's Vasquez, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now is
Vasquez.
that Vasquez? Now is that part of your origin, or was that just for the
No,
character?
that was just
Okay,
for
I
the
didn't know
character.
if they
Yeah.
had you like speaking another language,
No,
or
I
if it
wish.
was part of the someone else on the show or anything like that. Okay, I
Yeah,
just
there was
saw
a.
that I saw Eva Vasquez, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so it was like, well, I was just wondering what the correlation was because I
Yeah.
didn't think
Yeah.
that was necessarily it. So yeah, so
So
what we do? So go ahead, Tim. Yeah.
no, yeah, I just wanted to ask you about your convention experience. If you have any, I mean, have you done shows before? Have you done like any meet and greets of any kind,
Oh, I've
or
done a ton. Yeah, I've
yeah,
done so many over the years being on GH. Absolutely love them. It's so much fun to just like meet the fans in person, to
yeah,
hear what they have to say about your character, and they really feel like they know you because, again, like I said, you're in their living room every single day, and it's a special relationship that no other genre of acting has but daytime. And it's they're all very sweet and supportive. And I mean, I don't know if my character would have survived as long as she did if it wasn't for the support of the fans. And even when Britt and Jason got together, there was a lot of like, you can't, people hated it at first,
yeah,
Yeah.
but they soap fans are like, they love their soaps, and they love like seeing a character kind of just rise and fall and where they go, and they're very committed, and they're just great. And so events give me a chance to like show my appreciation to them, and also just meet them and chat with them, and show them that I'm not evil and I'm not a bitch, because they're always like, you're so nice. I'm like, what did you think? Did you think I was
yeah.
really that
I
character on
love that.
TV?
Yeah,
It
So
is
fun.
amazing that there is that distinction from some fans that are so engaged with these characters. We had Taryn Manning
hmm
on early in this, and
Yeah.
she was telling us about how she played a role called a Karen. Karen was the movie, but she played a Karen in the movie, and she was
uh,
getting like death threats and like literally like a lot of just major
wow.
backlash because it was
yeah.
at the time when all that was happening
All the
in our
But
Karen
also
world.
culture
So
going
the
on.
character was racist as well, and she was getting a lot of
so
backlash
she
about
was
that.
getting a lot of background. She's just playing a role she was hired to do,
Yeah.
but the correlation at the time was making people. She's obviously doing a great job,
She was doing a fantastic job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
just
Good
like
for
you.
her.
Like yeah, you're invoking that feeling out of people, like whether or not they're team like Britt,
Yeah.
Jason, or they want you to be with Patrick or whoever else.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah.
Is like it's one of those things where you're doing a great job when you're literally getting the ire up of the fans that hate
Hmm.
you, and there's people who
Hmm.
are like kind of been accosted in the past in airports for
Yeah.
cheating on
Oh,
cheating on different characters or whatever, and
yeah,
it's like they're like, I didn't really cheat on Carly. I didn't really cheat on.
Yeah,
It's
there are
like,
some insane stories. I think I've heard from other actors in the soap world that like how fans have really believed certain aspects of their character storylines, and it's just like,
yeah.
I
that,
mean,
that, yeah. It's so. Have you haven't had any of that backlash from
no.
playing
I
that
mean, I've
character?
had, of course, I've had the backlash, yeah, but I haven't had anything crazy,
Okay.
happen in real life. It's just been on
Yeah,
social
nothing
media where
physical.
people will
Yeah.
say stuff to
Social media.
me,
That's good. Let's keep it
Yeah.
that way. It's like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And what's new for you? Is there anything upcoming right now that you're working on, like project wise or?
I am just working on keeping my sanity, and working on. I have a there. It's we're in a really tricky time right now with the business. Everyone thought following the strike that this year was just going to be so incredibly busy for everyone,
hmm
and it,
Yeah.
it actually has been extremely difficult. Thankfully, over the last like week, I've had an uptick in auditions, which is amazing. but it's very hard because we're all competing against each other on every level. You know, I'm competing
Yeah.
against like mega stars with huge resumes when we never had that before.
Hmm.
So it's a trying time, but as actors, we endure. This is what we're used to. And I started doing some voiceover work, which I'm very happy about.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I'm also getting into TV presenting and hosting and things like that.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of different stuff happening, but I don't have anything solid booked yet.
Awesome.
You
So
will, though.
on that
Awesome.
note, as an actor for a long time as well, do you enjoy the audition process, or is it like to you? And also, this whole now like self tape thing, did you prefer going in the room? You have such an upbeat personality that can
Mm-hmm.
like that people can see in the room when it's a little
Mm-hmm.
harder to see like through a tape that's sent. What
Mm-hmm.
is Kelly's preference?
I'm kind of all over the place. Like some days I absolutely hate self tapes. A lot of days I do. And it's mainly because of that, because, you know, I can't go into a room, I can't have people see me and my personality. I can't ask questions. I can't get a
Yeah,
redirect. Maybe I'm doing the scene wrong, you know, like
yeah,
you
exactly.
Yeah.
literally you're alone in the world in this audition process, and it's really frustrating. But on the flip side of that, I can live anywhere right now and, you know, audition. I no
Yeah.
longer have to be based in Los Angeles or New York
Yeah.
even, which is great. It gives an actor so much freedom. And I get to do a scene multiple times. Like I recently had a really great audition, and I did one take over the weekend. I let it breathe a little bit, and I retaped it again today, and I was like, oh yeah, this version was way better. So I had time to
Cool.
like play with it,
Nice.
whereas if you go
Yeah.
to a room, you get that one shot and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
Strangely, before I got on General Hospital, I really loved auditioning. I felt so much ease and so confident in the room. For some reason, like being on camera and kind of having some sort of recognition really made me insecure. And so I would
Ooh.
start to go into these rooms after GH and I would get knocked on my ass because I was so nervous. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
I put so much pressure on myself to be this like working actor, or whatever that means, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I actually had to like relearn how to be an actor and have confidence and be myself and like not get shook when I go into a room. So I don't know how I would do nowadays going into a room, honestly. Like, I don't know if it would work very well for me. It's
so
hard.
so
Auditioning is
it
tough.
is. It is tough.
It's
I
a,
always had such anxiety. I did okay in the room, especially if
yeah,
they started off with asking you about yourself and you can kind of
yeah,
breathe a little bit.
yeah,
But
yeah.
and then once you know a little bit about what they're looking for, like you said, you can kind of
Hmm.
okay, I have a beat on, I have a right take on what they're looking for. But again, you're right. Self tape sometimes I'm in my head a little bit, and it's like okay, I can do this 10 times, but
Hmm.
so I get it to the point where I just do like 3 or 4 and
Oh yeah, you
I
have
have
to.
to I'm like
Yeah.
done
You got
and
to
I'm like
cut
I'm
it.
done. I'm cut it. I'm
Yeah.
like I'm done. I early on in the self tape I did too many and then there was
Yeah.
too many things. Well, I like this
Yeah.
from take 7 and I like
Yeah.
this from take
Yeah.
3. So I shouldn't have used my hands whatever. So I cut it at 4 and I'm done and I'm like I just live with the like hey, I
Good
did
for
what
you.
I wanted to do and then I just submit it, push the button and I let it go because you have to
Yeah.
kind of like stay out of your head and just kind of just be comfortable with the work that you did and what you put in. So even if you don't
Yeah.
know necessarily what they're exactly looking for, hopefully you get a callback or whatever, a
Yeah.
redirect, and they can tell you to try something. But again, it is very nerve wracking because
Hmm.
sometimes I would win the role, sometimes just being in the room, and they're like, we
Hmm.
kind of like this kid,
Hmm.
but now
Because
it's
that
you
is
have
part
to,
of it
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
Like they want to work
absolutely,
with people who are nice, you know? Like, and
absolutely,
you can't tell that necessarily from a self tape. And also
no,
with self tapes, you know, we're never gonna be perfect. So it's like you gotta like let that go. And if something doesn't, like if one word doesn't necessarily land how you wanted it to land, like you just
absolutely.
gotta let it go because you'll start obsessing over it. Trust me, I'm sure you understand. I've been there. I'm still there a little bit, you
Yeah,
know.
still there,
But you
still
really do.
there.
You just got to do your best, be truthful, show who you are, and let it go.
Okay, speaking of that little nugget there, that was amazing. My final question is, that I ask every guest on here is that there's a lot of filmmakers, actors, aspiring actors, or filmmakers that are watching this. I always ask to give some words of wisdom. They don't have to be inspiring. They can whatever it is you feel. Just give some words of wisdom to people that are watching that want to eventually maybe be on soaps or be on series like Station 19 or in movies like Hostel or whatever, like you've been.
How much time do we have? No, I'm joking.
Oh, please. Plenty.
I guess the one thing that I would say is like, you really have to want to do this with like everything that you have. You really have to have this massive desire to do it, because it is not an easy business, especially now. It is not an easy business. And if you don't love it, and if you're doing it just to be famous or to just like whatever that reason is, that's not like a real reason, it's not gonna be a happy situation for you. So I would highly recommend making sure people are doing it for the right reason and work your ass off. Just like any athlete has to train, actors have to train. When I was on General Hospital, I was still in class. I'd go to class every Monday, and I would wake up the next morning having to do dialogue this thick at work. Like, I want to be my best and constantly learn and constantly make sure that I'm growing, because I'm not Meryl Streep. I'm not, I'd love to get to that level, but like, you have to learn. You have to go to class, and even just watching people in class, you learn. So I think those two things are very, very important.
Awesome. Brilliant. And I concur with that, because years ago I was studying, and there was an actor that, well, he ended up becoming an actor, but he was just starting at that time. And there was a story about Hugh Jackman, like going on stage. And he was like, well, why would he? He's such a big star. But he didn't understand, like, even the biggest of stars, like, want to keep fresh. And that's the ultimate test to be on stage. You have to be 100% on. You can't mess up. There's no take two in front of 20,000 people in a Broadway show or whatever. So, and when I explained it to him, he was like, "Oh, okay." But again, it was to me. I gave that rock eyebrow, like, why would you ask that question? But for someone who didn't really understand the acting process yet, like he does, he ended up learning. It doesn't matter what level you're on. You still see Denzel Washington on stage. You still see like all these amazing actors like that are still honing their craft, like just to stay sharp. Maybe they're not doing a movie then, and they're like, I'm going to jump on stage to make sure I stay fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't matter if you're an Oscar winner or an Emmy winner or whatever.
Yeah.
You still got to stay. You still got to stay, just like with technology. We got to stay up. Stay up on what everything is, because it'll leave us behind. So again, thank you very much for those words of wisdom.
Yeah. So where can people find you on social media, or like what are your handles?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. Twitter I don't really use that much anymore, but I'm on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah.
Awesome. That's under your name.
Cool.
Under my name. Yeah. Under my name.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. So we look forward to
meeting you. 100%.
Yes,
me too. This is going to be so fun. Thank you for having me. I can't wait.
Absolutely. The Perry, you photo ops are going to be awesome. Just that whole interaction, and again, and stay tuned. We may have another special announcement soon about another addition to our show that might be a General Hospital favorite. So just keep your fingers crossed, fans.
Fingers crossed.
And again, thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate everything.
Yeah, thank you, Drea and Matt and Ardell and Drea and Matt and I'm sorry, Manny. Manny, obviously our amazing head of security,
thanks,
Mr.
Manny.
Yeah, and
there he is.
She really is. As Drea. And
thank you so much.
Caroline's here, and Ardell said she loved watching you in General Hospital, and and also Matt Bell was here too, and so thank you all for being in here.
Thank you so much. And without further ado, the amazing, absolutely amazing Kelly Thiebaud. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you in Atlantic City.
Can't wait, baby.
Awesome. Have a good night, Kelly. Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Have a great night. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye now, everybody. Have a good night.